So the question that needs to be asked is, why are liberals elevating and celebrating this woman? Why? What now? Obviously, she's deceased, so she passed away. But there's a reason. There's a reason why every newspaper in the country has announced that Nikki Giovanni has passed away. But my question is, can any of you tell me what your favorite Nikki Giovanni poem is? Can you tell me? Probably not. But I can tell you why the left wants us to celebrate her. It has nothing to do with her poetry per se. It has everything to do with the fact that Nikki was one of the key main catalysts, along with other white feminists within the civil rights movement, behind the destruction of the black family. And she was behind the rebellion of black women that we see in America today. She was one of the inaugural founders of that rebellion. And so this woman, she's considered a hero because the powers that be strategically used her. And they were so successful at destroying the black family and kicking the black man out of his home based on the perverse and wicked worldview that this woman indoctrinated young minds with. Why should she be someone that should be celebrated unless this was the plan all along? Because that is actually the results of what she accomplished. This was a calculated plan. And like I said, this did not happen in a vacuum. How is it that this civil rights activist who was the pro-blackity black marries a white woman when that seemed to be the antithesis of what she preached? She's black, she's female, she's a lesbian, anti-marriage, anti-God. But yet, this is who they are celebrating. There's a reason. It had to have been a calculated plan. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you guys actually knew this. But the man in the House clause, when the Moynihan report was done, Patrick Moynihan report, there was the man being in charge of his family. That was one of the main tenets of this is how we can stop the bleed out that was observed within the black community. They wanted to come up with something, and they were like, listen, we got to figure out a way to get the man back in charge of his family again. Why? The out of wedlock birth rates, it was starting to spike. And the black family was on the decline, so much so and so rapidly that when Patrick Moynihan pointed this out, he was like, listen, we got to get the full faith of the federal government behind this. This needs federal attention. We got to put federal attention on this issue. And the feds, they went to the civil rights community to see what they thought could be done to help. Well, these evil leftist, communist Marxists were like, nah, hell nah, we can't have that. No, the man in the house as a condition to, nope, we can't have that. Civil rights leaders, particularly MLK and his crew. And now we can add Nikki Giovanni to the discussion. She's the one who said the family is like slavery. The husband is the plantation owner, and black women, they want freedom, not slavery. So because of this thinking, this anti-God, twisted and perverse agenda, having the man out of the house ended up being part of the Great Society. When Patrick Moynihan surmised that coming up with ways to put the man back in charge of his family, that would be the thing that could strengthen a black family. Don't tell me that this woman should be celebrated. Absolutely not. Do not tell me that there were benefits of feminism and that the civil rights activists, these individuals should be celebrated and heralded. No, don't tell me that, because I say they should be exposed. They should be exposed. These civil rights activists, they are individuals that should not be celebrated and revered. I say she and others, and I'm getting to a whole lot of them, they on my list, they should be exposed and renounced for the destruction that they caused, because we can look around. Look around today and see the results that we are living, and it doesn't look good. Patrick Moynihan's idea was to use the full power of the federal government to come up with an idea to put the black man back in charge of his family. And when he went to the civil rights community with that idea, your black leaders, they're not mine. I don't even refer to them as my black leaders. No one leads me but Christ alone and the man that I've pledged my life to. That's who I submit to. The civil rights, your leaders, the ones who were in charge, they said no. Martin Luther King, NAACP, Nikki Giovanni, all of them said no. Why? Because they were communists. They were Marxists. You can't have a godly principle such as the family being the cornerstone of a healthy society, because in those constructs, the government is the object of your affection. The government is supreme. Ultimately, the government is God, and it worked. Because when you look at the black family and what started to happen when the woman was pushing the man out the house, like, no, in order for me to get what the government's going to provide, right, my sustenance, provision for my needs, you can't be here. And one generation after the next generation after the next generation, more matriarchal squalor. More matriarchal squalor. And so ultimately, you guys, I wanted to bring that to your attention because, listen, I get it. The woman passed away. And while we can acknowledge that her family might be mourning and her partner, who she is calling a wife, is probably sad, I thought that it would be incumbent upon me as a voice who anchors all of my arguments in an objective standard of truth to say, well, yes, she passed away, but here is why I am not celebrating. And here's why you need to be careful who you revere and celebrate, because a lot of these people were not good people. They were not good people. And so, as Christians, we should be praying for leaders who will govern with wisdom and integrity. And I think as Christians, we should be asking the Lord, show us the ones that mean us harm and help us or show us who to support and show us who these people are, so we are not following the ones who are trying to lead us astray. I would also argue that we should be seeking to support individuals and policies that uplift families so that we can remain rooted in biblical truth, remembering that, you guys, there's no political party that is ultimately our savior. Only Christ is. And so focusing on celebrating these civil rights icons and elevating them to places of prominence and importance of our lives when we don't really know who they were and who they stood for, I just think it's unwise. And I am so grateful for voices like Judge Joe Brown, who the Lord has blessed him with 80 and some change in order for him to shed light on what he knows and to leave this information with us so that we would not be blinded and deceived by those who wish to cause us harm. And so thank you for tuning in to the Standard of Truth podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I want you to let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts.